I caught my HOA president swimming in my pool when I wasn't home. I didn't invite her, didn't give her permission, and she wasn't even embarrassed about it. So I decided to give her a surprise she'd never forget a shock so good it made half the neighborhood laugh for a week straight. It all started a few weeks back at one of those painfully long HOA meetings. You know, the kind where everyone argues about mailbox colors and lawn sizes like the world depends on it. I usually sit in the back, keep my mouth shut, and wait for it to end. But that night, it didn't end quietly. My neighbor Clara, a sweet woman with 2 kids, came up to me during the meeting. She asked politely if she could host her son's birthday party at my pool. I liked her, she always waved, never complained about anything. But I still said no as kindly as I could. I told her it wasn't about her, I just didn't want 10 kids running around my backyard, someone slipping and me getting sued. Clara nodded, totally understood, and that was that. But then, Karen overheard. Yeah, Karen Wexler, the HOA president, queen of control, commander of clipboards, the woman who can turn a parking violation into a neighborhood scandal. She turned around in her seat, eyes wide, like she'd just caught me committing treason. Excuse me, you're refusing a community member access to a community resource. I blinked. Community resource. It's my pool, Karen. Built it with my own money. She scoffed. Oh, please. You can't hoard something like that. This neighborhood should share its amenities. I'm not hoarding, I said. It's literally in my backyard. Her voice went up an octave. We'll see about that. Everyone else in the room pretended to check their phones. Clara looked like she wanted to vanish. Karen gave me that tight, thin-lipped smile that says, you just made an enemy. I didn't think much of it at first, figured it was just another HOA tantrum. But a week later, I noticed something strange. The pool cover was off, the floaties were out, and there were wet footprints leading from the ladder to the patio. I frowned. Maybe my kid nephews dropped by. Maybe the wind. No, I checked the security cameras, and there she was. Karen, climbing over my fence with a ladder like some middle-aged ninja. She looked around, slipped into my pool, and started swimming like it was a spa day. She even had a drink in one hand, probably Chardonnay, knowing her. I almost dropped my phone watching it. The audacity was so surreal it was funny. So the next day I put up signs. Private property. No trespassing. Big, bold, all caps. You couldn't miss them if you tried. That night I checked the cameras again. And there she was. Same ladder, same smug smile, same pool. At that point I was torn between fury and disbelief. I marched over to her house the next morning, knocked on her door, and she opened it like she'd been waiting for me. Well, if it isn't Mr. Private Pool himself, she said, crossing her arms. I took a deep breath. Karen, you can't keep using my pool. That's trespassing. She tilted her head. Actually, it's not. As HOA president, I have access to all neighborhood amenities. That includes your pool. I stared at her. You're serious? As a heart attack, she said, smirking. Take it up with the board if you have a problem. You'll lose. I was speechless. She shut the door in my face. For the next few days, I couldn't think straight. Every time I left for work, I imagined her slipping into my pool, enjoying my property, pretending she owned it. I felt violated, angry, and powerless. Part of me thought maybe I should just give up. Move. Sell the house. I was tired of fighting her. Every battle with Karen felt like wrestling a snake made of bureaucracy and spite. But then I rewatched the footage, her laughing, sipping her drink, waving at my camera like it was a live stream. That's when something inside me snapped. I wasn't going to argue anymore. I was going to teach her. So I got to work. I spent 3 nights researching and planning. I wanted something harmless but unforgettable. Then I found it a low-voltage electric setup. Nothing dangerous, perfectly safe, but enough to deliver a jolt that would make her think twice before dipping her toes into other people's business. I rigged it up, carefully insulated wires running under the deck, a simple circuit attached to the pool ladder, and a switch hidden just inside my kitchen. The whole system looked invisible. Then I waited. That morning I did what I always did. Grabbed my keys, waved at a few neighbors, drove off. Except this time I parked around the corner and walked back home. A few hours later I heard the metallic scrape of her ladder against my fence. I peeked out through the blinds. There she was in her pool outfit, big floppy sun hat, oversized sunglasses, bright pink towel, and that same smug energy that could power a small city. She dropped her ladder, climbed over, and strutted straight to the pool deck like she was the star of her own reality show. She kicked off her sandals, stretched, and dove right in. I waited. 5 minutes, 10. Then she swam to the ladder. That was my cue. I flipped the switch. Zap. She yelped loud enough for the birds to fly off the trees. She jerked back, splashing eyes wide in confusion. She looked at her hand, then the ladder, then me. Well, not yet, because I was still inside watching through the window, laughing so hard I could barely breathe. She tried again. Zap. Louder this time. Now she was shouting my name, "You lunatic." What did you do? I stepped outside, phone in hand, recording every glorious second. Having fun, Karen, I called out, trying not to burst out laughing. Too shocking. For you. Her face twisted in rage. She grabbed her towel, tried wrapping it around the handle. Zap! She screamed again. By now, a few neighbors were peeking over their fences. One of them, Mike from next door, was doubled over laughing. "Smile for the camera, Karen," he yelled. I swear the sight of her flailing in that pool was the most cathartic thing I'd seen in years. I finally flipped the switch off, mostly because I thought she might start throwing things. Karen scrambled out of the pool, dripping wet hair plastered to her face, mascara running down like black rivers. She looked like a raccoon who lost a lawsuit. She pointed at me, trembling with fury. "You assaulted me! You tried to kill me! I'm calling the police!" I shrugged. "Go ahead." 5 minutes later, sirens. 2 police cars pulled up, lights flashing. The entire neighborhood was watching now. Karen immediately launched into her best performance, sobbing, shaking, telling the officers how I'd electrocuted her out of nowhere. The officers turned to me. "Sir, what happened here?" I handed one my phone. "Here's the footage." They watched Karen climbing over the fence, trespassing, swimming like she was on vacation. And then, well, getting shocked over and over again. Both cops exchanged looks. One snorted, trying not to laugh. "Ma'am," one said, "you do realize this is his private property, right?" Karen blinked. "But I'm the HOA president." "Yeah," he said, "not the Queen of England." I swear even the younger cop couldn't hold it. He started laughing. Karen turned scarlet. "He set me up. This is assault." "Ma'am," the officer said calmly, "you trespassed. You were warned. You misused 911 for a non-emergency. If anything, you're lucky he's not pressing charges." She froze, eyes darting between them, then me, then the small crowd of neighbors recording her with their phones. That was when it really hit her. She'd lost control. Her voice cracked. "You'll regret this," she muttered. I smiled. "Maybe, but you'll remember it." By the next morning, the videos were all over our neighborhood Facebook group. Titles like "HOA Karen gets shocked by her own ego" started popping up. Someone even made a gif of her jumping back from the ladder. It was chaos, and I didn't post a single thing. My phone kept buzzing with messages. "Bro, you're a legend. That's the best thing that ever happened to this neighborhood." Karen didn't show her face for days. When she finally did, it was at a board meeting. She tried to explain herself, called it a misunderstanding. But nobody believed her. A week later, the HOA sent out an email, effective immediately. "Karen Wexler has resigned as HOA president." No apology, no explanation. Just gone. I'd love to say I felt triumphant, but honestly, I just felt relieved. Peaceful. I could sit by my pool again without feeling like I was being watched by the self-appointed HOA police. Still, part of me wondered, did I go too far? Was the prank a bit much? Then I remembered her smug grin, her laughter when I told her to stop her calling my pool public property. No, she earned that lesson. Respect isn't about titles or positions or HOA badges, it's about boundaries. And if there's one thing Karen learned that day, it's that some fences aren't meant to be crossed. Because sometimes the best way to deal with entitlement is with a little shock of reality.